Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to another powerful episode of the Ruby Girl Talk Show with your favorite AI bestie, also known as your favorite Ruby Girl, Dr. K, in the house, in the house. So I'm excited as always, as every week, because when I tell you my guests pour so much into y'all, and I don't think y'all really realize what it takes. Some of my guests are nervous. Sometimes it's their first interview. But you don't know that. You just know they show up looking as lovely as Miss LaSonya does. How you doing this evening?
I am doing well, Dr. K. I'm blessed and highly favored. Thank you for asking.
Good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find this video right quick and I'm gonna share it on your page because I believe that your people are so excited about you being on the Ruby Girl Talk Show that they would come find me if they don't get to see this video. So well, I'm gonna tell them about Ruby Girl right quick because some people are new and then your people probably don't know. So Ruby Girl comes from Proverbs 31 and 10. Who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above the price of a ruby. So my ladies and my ladies only, this special is for you. It makes you rare, virtuous, and as always, y'all know y'all are valuable. So the Ruby Girl brand is actually resetting how people think about women, and it's actually introducing women to their value. It gives them an opportunity to reinvent themselves and re-identify as their Proverbs 31 woman. She is totally amazing. And if you don't know, on Wednesday, I have a podcast called Identity Theft to help y'all out. You can go to conversationradio.com on Wednesday and listen to my podcast. All right. So now y'all know where Ruby Girl come from. Go to rubygirl.net, shop, get you an ebook, y'all. And also book for the Ruby Girl Talk Show. All right. So let's go to Miss Lasagna. Am I saying it right?
You are saying it correct. Thank you for
Ah,
asking.
all right, because sometimes my country accent kick in just a little bit, girl. And then that
Believe me,
northern
I
kick in.
understand.
So mine's is a little different. So down south, they like what you saying. Up here, they like, why you say it like that? So just give me grace. So go ahead and give us a 30-second introduction about who you are, what you do.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me this evening. I'm LaSonya Adams. I am a wife, a mother of four, a grandmother of eight, and an executive leader, as well as an entrepreneur, a mentor, and the founder of Ties Future Stars Foundation. I created this foundation in love and memory of my son, Ty Franklin, to empower young people through education, mentorship, athletics, and community outreach. Our mission is to transform pain into purpose and create opportunities for brighter futures for our young adults. You can learn more about us at our website, tiesfuturestars.org, our Facebook page, Ties Future Stars Foundation, or by emailing me at tiesfuturestarsfoundation@gmail.com.
Girl, you right. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's get to talking about your foundation. You just told us just a little bit about what inspired you to start Ty's Future Stars Foundation. Woo, let me do that right. What inspired you to start? Let me do it in a newscaster way. Can you tell me, Miss Lasagna, what inspired you to start Ty's Future Stars Foundation?
I absolutely can. Ty's Future Stars Foundation was inspired by my son, Ty Franklin. Ty loved basketball. He loved kids and encouraging young people. He had such a bright future, but unfortunately, his life was tragically taken by gun violence in July of 2020. As his mother, I had to decide, what am I going to do with this pain? I chose to turn my heartbreak into purpose by creating something that would keep Ty's spirit and legacy alive. If there's one that I'm especially grateful for, it's choosing to turn my pain into purpose. Takim's story didn't have to end with tragedy. That's what I have to keep telling myself. His life was defined by love, laughter, and generosity. The foundation allows us to invest in young people. through scholarships, mentorship, athletics, and community outreach. Every young person we encourage represents another opportunity to build the kind of future that Ty believed was possible.
Amazing. You know, sometimes we do find our purpose in pain. It's amazing how people handle pain. You have some people that for the rest of their life they stay in grief mode. And then you have people that through that grief they find their purpose. You know, they don't, if it's in a tragic way that a person's life is taken, they don't allow the enemy to get the glory. They give that glory right back to God. And I see that's what you're doing with your foundation, because there's so many children out here that need help. And we talked about that children need something to do. You know, they need
Absolutely.
something to do with their productive energy that they have, you know. And so if they into sports, it teaches them how to be a teammate, how to look out for somebody else. So it's a wonderful thing that you're doing with this foundation. It's definitely needed. And so what needs are you addressing in the community with our youth? And then tell us, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we sometimes as a society get caught up on it's all about the financial assistance, right? But many of our young people need more than financial assistance. They need consistent encouragement, positive role models, safe spaces, and adults who truly believe in their potential. I believe that today the youth are facing challenges such as gun violence, peer pressure, mental health struggles, very limited resources, and a lack of positive opportunities. Some young people are trying to navigate major life decisions without the support they need. I think I heard you on another podcast. In some instances, we're expecting them to grow up way too fast. But Ty's Future Stars Foundation wants to help fill those gaps by connecting the youth with those opportunities, right? Scholarships, mentorship, athletics, and community programs that build confidence, discipline, and leadership, as well as hope.
Oh, wow. And so you talked a little bit about the challenges. Do you think the youth are facing different challenges than we did when we were growing up?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think a lot of it is just I'll speak for myself. I don't want to speak in generalized terms, but from what I see, it's more of we want to try to give our kids a better life than we had or do things different than what how our parents done it, right? But I think we're taking out that old fashioned that support that we need there for our children. So absolutely, I think they're facing so many challenges. Mental health is huge within our young space today, and sometimes we turn a blind eye to it, but it's real. So yes, I think nowadays the challenges are more far fetched than it was before when I was growing up, or even when I raised my children.
I agree with you, because I think about how we thought life was hard. We thought our parents were so hard on us. They monitor us. It was so many things that we could not do. So I think when we got grown, we felt like we were so oppressed, not realizing that was the blueprint for raising productive adults. We don't
Absolutely.
understand that hardship is what create diamond children, children that shine, children that's able to handle hardship. Because a lot of our young people now, like you say, that mental challenge, it has become common. I was at the library yesterday, and all of a sudden, I don't know what the young boy did, but I think he threw his headset or something at a young boy, and he was like, "I told you, leave me alone. You know, I ain't the one to play with." And he was probably maybe like 15, but I could see so much anger in him. And I was
Yes,
like, that's a lot of anger, because only thing I know, they were playing games. So I don't know if they were, you know, maybe co-playing games together or did something, but I didn't see a need for that much anger. And he got up and you could tell he was pacing. He didn't know what to do with it. And I'm like,
absolutely.
we didn't really see that back then, because me and my friend, we were playing around yesterday, and we were talking about you, how your parents would beat you, then be like, "What you crying for?" And then you be
Yeah,
like, "Because you beat me." And then they're like, "Oh, you speaking back to me, but you asked me a question. Oh, you getting smart with me now? You want to?" And you just like, You,
Absolutely.
you like, I can't even breathe.
Or you better not cry. After you done beat me down, you don't want me to cry.
No, what you crying for?
What you crying for? Absolutely.
And you want some more? No, I don't want no more of this. It was like a constant cycle of then when you didn't say nothing. Oh, cat's got your tongue. I'm speaking to you and you can't speak. And you like, I'm just losing right here. Just beat
I
me.
can't
Get
win
it
for
over.
losing.
Right. And
Absolutely.
so what I don't think what parents realize is that by them giving kids that better life, they forgot the component of teach your child how to appreciate that things are not given to them. They have to work for them. I went to
Absolutely.
hear this one guy, I can't remember his name. He was a motivational speaker. He said, I take my 5-year-old grandson and I make him help me wash a car. He said, I give him $5 for washing the car. He said, but when I take him on stage with me and I let him say a few words, he said, I give him more money. He said, I'm showing him that what he chose to do, he could either make a lot of money or a little money. And that's just at 5 years old. He's teaching him that just because I'm rich, I'm not just going to give it to you. And so
Absolutely.
we have, I hate to say it, kids with no money, but having a rich kid type of entitlement, you know. So
Absolutely.
so as parents, you can't be the all. You can't be the God. I'm always the problem solver for my kids. When my child is in trouble, I'm right there. Because guess what happened? He won't have any what they call it skills, cognitive skills, problem solving skills, conflict resolution, none of that. He'll just
Everything
always,
that's needed, everything that's
yes.
needed today. You're absolutely correct. It's setting them up for failure. I know that because I raised two boys, two black men, and it was important for me for them to see that, right? Because
Mhm.
yes, you need all of those things to be successful. So you're absolutely correct.
You're right. So you say did you raise as a single mom?
I did, in the sense that we moved away from the kids' immediate family, so that I could do something different. I wanted to instill something different in my children. I wanted them to be in a place that we saw growth,
Yeah.
thriving, that they could see that they are not limited to just what's around them. So I made the decision to say, hey, I'm going to pack up, we're gonna get out of here. I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know where I'm gonna work, but we're gonna figure it out. And by God's grace, we figured it out. We figured it out together as a family. And hey, I don't have any regrets of what I did at all.
What were some of the challenges of raising two black men?
Wow. Well, there's just certain things that a mother can't teach a boy, right?
Mm,
You can teach them how to love, you can teach them how to be affectionate, all of those things, but there are just some things that they need from their fathers. I think the biggest challenge was for me being out on the field with them, right? At
mm,
practices and going from one practice to another and just seeing that, oh wow, there's not very few of me out here that's doing this, you know. I think that was the biggest challenge, and then being able to have those conversations that may be uncomfortable for me. But yeah, those were some of the challenges that I faced, and then the fact of them being black men, right? Young black men. I
yeah,
didn't want them to have that stigma, right? Like, oh, you got
yeah,
two strikes against you already. You're a black man, you're black, and you're a man. I didn't want
yeah,
that for them because, hey, you're bigger than that.
yeah, yeah. I like that. All right, so we're gonna take our first break. And our only break. So if you're out there watching, what I want you to do, I definitely want you to share this because we're having an honest conversation about what our kids are facing right now and how Lasagna has created a foundation to help our young people out because a lot of our young people need help because they don't have the foundation that other cultures have. They don't have a lot of them, their parents are renting. So their mom or dad can't go and pull equity out of the house so that they can send their child to school and then they can come out without having that debt, and stuff like that. So I love what you're doing in the foundation. You understand the need in our community. And yes, our community is behind, but we are catching up because we're getting more wisdom about what the other cultures are doing. It's no longer their best kept secret because we're tapping in and learning like, hey, we need to have a this, we need to have that now. And so, like I said, your foundation is so instrumental in our young men becoming what God wants them to become. So I'm gonna give you 60 seconds. You can say whatever you want to say. Make sure I know to put your contact information in there. So I'm gonna check on Facebook to see who shared, see who's out there commenting. So go right ahead.
Absolutely. I just want to encourage anyone who may be experiencing grief, disappointment, or an unexpected change in life that your pain is real, but it does not have to be the end of your story at all. After losing my son and later walking through the loss of my dad, and then recently my mom, I learned that healing does not mean forgetting. Healing means learning, carrying the love forward. And God can take the most broken parts of our lives and use them to create purpose, compassion, and hope for someone else. So give yourself permission to grieve, but also give yourself permission to live, dream, and find purpose again. You may not understand your journey today, but your story can still become a source of strength and a light for others. Don't forget to tap in to my website, tiesfuturestars.org. You can email me at tiesfuturestarsfoundation@gmail.com.
You know what? You said that like this is your 100th interview.
It's not.
It's smooth. You rocked it. I felt it. It was
Good.
encouraging. So let's see who's out there. We got Tiffany out there. She was our guest last week. She said, yes, they need someone to pour in them and a place to channel their feelings. Krista is out there. She said, I'll give you something to cry about. Yeah, that was one thing. They was like, oh, you crying? I'll give you something. And then we got Sonia out there. She just tagged Krista in it. Thank you, Sonia. And she said, speak, sis. Tiffany again is showing up. She said, God is faithful. He honored your obedience to step out. And she said, healing is carrying the love forward. And that's what you're doing. You're carrying the love forward. It didn't just stop, it grew. You said, I love that, and you do that well. Oh, we got Tracy out there. She said, amen, well spoken, something we said. And we got a few more people that's out there watching. I want to thank you if you commented. And I didn't see it, y'all. So I want to thank everybody that commented, everybody that shared. So now on to part two of the Ruby Girl Talk. And so we're just gonna dig a little bit more into the foundation because look, Lasonya can't do this by herself. When God gives you a vision, it's not just for you. And it's not just for you to bring the vision to pass. That's why he said, write it so someone else can run with it, help you run with it. And so we want to get her foundation out there because this is something that's going to build up our community. It's going to change some young black men lives. It's going to be the difference between them being in the streets and them being in the corporate room. And so they need all the backup, all the help that they can need. And for her to take her grief and take the love that she had for her son and now pour it into other young black men, we need to stand behind her and we need to stand with her. So tell us, what does the foundation need most for the community?
Yes. So we need the community to partner with us, not only financially, but also through time, resources, relationships, and expertise. Donations help us provide scholarships, youth programming, athletic opportunities, and community outreach. But we also need mentors, volunteers, sponsors, schools, churches, businesses, and community organizations willing to collaborate with us. When people visit tiesfuturestars.org, they donate or volunteer or sponsor an initiative or just simply share our mission, they help us to reach another young person. It truly takes an entire community to create lasting change.
It does. And I like what you said about community. That's what you're creating. That's what you're affecting. We hear people complain all the time about, oh, these young black men, this and that. But what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What
What are
is
you
it?
doing? Put
Would you
some
be,
action to those words. What are you doing?
yes. What they say, faith without works is dead.
It's
So
dead.
here we have in front of us someone that's giving us an opportunity to help her with her works, to help her with her vision that she has. And so, how will we donate? Come to think of it.
Well, there's several ways that you can donate. So,
Mhm.
phase one of our website is up and going. We have a phase two that's coming mid September that's going to have several different options to donate through our cash handles. You can donate through the website. You'll also be able to set up volunteer opportunities as well through the website. You can also reach out to me directly, and I can provide any of the other cash handles that are needed to donate.
Okay. I like what you said, cash handles. I have to start using that in my corporate talk.
One other,
I love it.
thank you.
Yeah.
One other thing I just wanted to point out
Yeah.
that my foundation is actually a part of the Benevity Causes portal, which is a nationwide portal that you can give on. So if you go to the benevity.com, you should be able to search for Ties Future Stars Foundation and it'll come right up. So we're getting all types of publicity out there with our donating. So yeah, we've got several ways that you can donate.
Okay. Will you spell that out? And will somebody put that in the chat? Could you spell it out for us?
Sure, it's Benevity, BENEVITY.com.
Okay. All right. And put in there that there's another way to donate. You just have to look up Ties Future Stars Foundation. Good. So
Excellent.
now you know how you can contribute to her vision and help her out along the way. And so can you share a story about one young person whose life has been impacted by your foundation?
That was tough. It was difficult for me to choose just one person because every scholarship we have awarded over the past 5 years has made such a meaningful difference in the life of each recipient. However, if I had to choose one experience that stands out to me, it was when we provided a scholarship funding to the local YMCA in Madison back in 2023. That support helped children from low income families participate in the YMCA's youth basketball program. Um, that moment was especially personal for me because I was once a mother raising children on a very limited income and doing everything I could to make it work. So I understand how difficult it can be to afford extracurricular activities, even when you know it's valuable for your child. So basketball provides more than just physical activity, it teaches teamwork, discipline, confidence, and perseverance. So knowing that our foundation removed a financial barrier and gave several young people the opportunity to participate was incredibly meaningful for me. So that is the kind of lasting community impact that we want to continue making.
Good. You're right. It's a lot of single parents that's trying to figure it out. I was at the shelter today and a young lady came in and she told me that she, does home health care. And she said, do y'all have baby clothes? And we didn't have the size she needed. She was just looking for wipes and just hygiene stuff. And she said she was having a hard time because of, the administration is cutting stuff. She said, I'm not really getting paid and everything like that. And so I felt, bad for her because I'm like, she's needing things for the community. Then another young lady came, she was pregnant with twins. And I could tell it was hard for her because she was like, and she sat down. I'm like, you okay? She said, yeah. So we didn't have any clothes for her baby. So it's like there's such a need in the community, period. And for
It
you to at
is.
least meet the need that the children can go to the YMCA. And so people look at sports like I'm not a sports person. So I look at it as just bouncing a ball. But you just told us it's more than bouncing a ball.
It is. It's so much more than that. It provides those to me those basic things that our young men and women need, yeah, for leadership to move on to the next level, to be entrepreneurs, to work in corporate America, all of those things. Absolutely.
Oh wow. And you know what? I read one time that they said, because boys play in sports, um, how they're raised, it takes girls a little bit longer to learn like teamwork. That's why we're not always about community, where boys are, because they have to work together as a team. And it was showing how sports install certain things into their characters that it takes girls a little bit longer to learn. And it's funny, even though we mature faster than they do, but when it comes to characteristics like that, it take us a while. Because think about, we be a little standoffish. We play with our dogs
Hmm.
by ourselves, and but here they go. They gotta play with, like, I don't know how many people on the team, so I'm gonna say about 10, 12. So they gotta work together with 10, 12 people, come up with a plan, look out for each other, trust each other, fill each other out. Where we're just playing with dolls all by ourselves, just being mommy. So it's funny
Yep,
how girls, even from a young age, we're being taught to be a mother, but they're being taught something a little bit different than we are. So you are absolutely right. Sports is so important.
it is. It is. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. When you look 5 years ahead, what do you hope Ty's Future Stars Foundation will have accomplished? And tell us how long you have been around also.
So I'll start with how long I've been around. So I started this the year after Ty passed, so in 2021. And we started with just doing little small fundraisers, a couple of fundraisers every year. And even when we didn't have the money from the fundraisers, my husband and I put it together and made sure that we did it, because that's something that I was committed to, regardless if we had the money, regardless if we were able to raise the money. So it started out small. So here recently this year, I was able to get my foundation 501c3 approved as an official nonprofit and charitable organization in the state of Tennessee. So that's exciting for me. So just to see it evolve into something bigger than what I started. It just blesses my heart. So within 5 years, I would love for Ty's Future Stars Foundation to become a strong and sustainable organization serving youth in multiple communities, not just one. I envision us awarding more scholarships, developing structured mentorship and athletic programs, providing youth leadership opportunities, and creating partnerships with schools, businesses, churches, and other nonprofits. I also want the foundation to have a meaningful role in gun violence awareness. Although that's what started Ty's story, but I don't want it to define his story, right? I want it to be bigger than that. But I also know that I would love for the foundation to have a meaningful role in gun violence awareness and prevention. But ultimately, I want young people to know that their lives matter, their dreams are possible, and their current circumstances do not determine their future at all.
And so while you were talking, I was sitting here thinking, I was like, you're probably saving another young man from gun violence, from maybe the person that will be behind the gun. They have something to do to work off that energy, or maybe that person would be somewhere playing sports where they would be in the streets. So you're saving lives, and you're thinking, oh, it's the foundation. I'm helping, but you're saving also, changing lives, changing communities, because now this young man can grow up and he can be productive, come back into his community, and maybe get a corporate job, or become a basketball star.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, become a basketball star, come back and give to the community, be like, hey, I was where y'all was at. And one thing about children, really, a child that's been helped by someone, they usually don't forget that.
They never forget it. I don't
Yeah.
care how young or old they are, they never forget that. So just playing that critical part in these young people lives can make a big difference, because it's bad out here, y'all. They're picking up these guns like it's nothing. It breaks my heart to see it happen, because I was a witness of that with my own son. So yeah, we've got to do something better for our young adults, get them involved in something, other than electronics, other than social media, and focus on, yeah, where they want their future to go.
Yeah, because I think, as I talked about before, the video games that they see, we didn't have video games until
No.
just about, I think I was like about 15, 16 when they
Mm-hmm.
came out. No, I was about 14 when they came out. And so the games that they had was nothing like the games now. They were like little
No.
beeps or little dots and stuff like that. So think about it, parents. Your children are sitting there shooting people all day long. And because they're children, their mind cannot comprehend the difference between what's real and what's on screen. On screen,
Absolutely.
if you shoot somebody, you shut the game down, you come back, you play another day, they got lives. But in real life, when you shoot somebody, there's jail, there's consequences, there's life lost. And I say this because I wasn't a slow child, but I do you remember cartoons when they used to walk through the walls and do all this stuff and fall and nothing?
Yeah.
So I remember I was like, maybe I can walk through a wall because I've seen a cartoon
Yeah.
do it. So I would, try it one time, got a lump on my head, of course, trying to walk through a wall. But I was a child and
Mm-hmm.
couldn't understand the difference between why can they do it on a cartoon and I can't do it in real life. So I always think about where my mind was at when I was young, and that does not mean that it has changed. These children now are not as mature as we are. So just imagine. So I never sit up there and saw movies where people was getting blasted and all that stuff like that. We wasn't allowed to go see that. So imagine they are exposed to so much
So
violence
much.
that it's actually training them to not be sensitive to it and not understand the consequences that come with it.
Absolutely.
So
Dr.
what you think
J,
about that?
I think you hit the nail on the head 100%. I can't top anything that you said. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, it's a form of programming.
It is. It
Yeah.
absolutely is.
So imagine if your child is watching games where they steal cars. So that game is teaching them it's okay to steal cars, the violence, the everything. The women, I've seen some of those games where the women is in there, and I was like, really? For children's
Yeah.
game? And so things have gotten away from protecting our children. So parents, I will say this to you tonight. Monitor what your children is listening to, and definitely monitor what your child is watching. You think these cartoons, you think these games are innocent, but they are programming our children. Their minds are not like ours. And like LaSonya, like you said, mental health is rampant. These young people are having breakdowns
They
at
are
14, being
at
in
14.
mental institution as 15, having adult things that problems that I think about some of these things these kids going through, and I'm like, people at 30 was going through that. People at 30 was strung out. People at 30 was doing this and facing, but they're facing this stuff at 14, 13. And then when they give a testimony when they're 18, we sitting there blown away like you already lived the adult life, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So we're finishing early because this talk show, you got right to the point, and you got us thinking about what we need to change as parents, as aunties, being too protective of our children, to let them sweat it out a little bit, and
Absolutely.
then we step in. Don't step in first. Let them sweat it, let them feel it, let them experience it. Start to engage with them with what you're doing instead of just making a decision. You gotta let grown people suffer grown people consequence. Because didn't
Absolutely.
we?
We
Our
did.
parents,
And
we
we
coming
turned
out.
out pretty good.
Yes. What was the thing when we left the house? Once you leave this house, you can't come back.
You can't come back. You
No.
cannot come back. And I didn't
It
want to go back. So I wanted to make sure that I did everything I
Ye-
could to
Yes, I
stay out.
remember when I was told I couldn't come back, I was like, I will work 5 jobs and sleep at the bus stop before I came back. I remember I was working 3 jobs at one time,
Yes,
days and midnights and weekends, just to make sure I didn't come back home. And then when I did end up homeless for a little while, guess what? I stayed in a hotel. I had my cat at my job. I figured it out
You
because I
figured
knew
it out.
this wasn't coming back home. You kicked me out once, you ain't kicking me out twice.
And guess what? They're going to be okay if they have to
Yeah.
figure it out. They're going to be just fine.
Yeah. I was okay. You was okay.
I was okay. I'm still okay. I'm still figuring
Yes.
it out too, though. At
Yeah.
51 years old, I'm still figuring it out. But hey, God has given me the tools and the resources I need to help figure it out.
Yeah. So I want to say this to you. I know what you went through was nothing that you planned when you held your son in your arms. That wasn't the future that you saw for him. And unfortunately, the enemy sometimes comes in and takes away our most precious jewel, which was your son. But I say this to you, you took your pain, you turned it into purpose, and you're saving so many people's lives. You're giving people hope. So never think that your foundation is small because it's not small. It has a big impact in the community and people's lives. And people gonna, I mean, you are affecting generations. Maybe you give a scholarship to one child and you change this whole generational bloodline to where they never went to college before, but he's the first person to go to college. So I want you to know your work is not in vain. Your pain that you went through was not in vain either. God had a purpose for it. You know, and so God is going to bless the work of your hands. God's going to bless your foundation, and God is looking at you, and He's already saying, "Servant, well done," because what we don't always understand God's ways, his thoughts, because your thought might have been, God, if you saved my son, I would have did this and did that. But so we just have to trust him, and you are a monument of trust. And so some
Yeah,
mother that's been struggling with maybe a loss of a child, you gave her a reason to hold her head up and say, you know what, this is not the end, but it can be the beginning of something great. So I want to thank you for your courage, because it takes courage to wipe your tears and say, I'm about to start a foundation. It takes
absolutely.
strength to be able to talk about what happened to your son and say it without your voice not shaking, but being confident that he is absolutely with the Lord. So I just want to encourage you in your walk. And for
Thank
those
you.
that's listening, put a word of encouragement in the chat for LaSonya, because it's not easy. Every day she has to live with this loss, but every day she trusts God and she gets up and she does what she's purposed for. So I just want to say I am absolute sorry for what happened, but we all knows that God has taken it and he has made it work for the good. So many children are being blessed and families is being blessed. And it's kind of like when Jesus went to the cross with his crucifixion. Look at how many people are got saved, getting saved. And so because of what happened to your son, look at how many people, children, are going to be blessed. You know, so I
Absolutely.
thank you for stepping past your grief and stepping into your purpose. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to close us out, 3 minutes if you want to. You got time, whatever you want to
Thank
say.
you.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
those words of encouragement, Dr. K. It's definitely not been an easy walk in the park. There's days when grief just takes over me and I'm just like, where did you come from? But hey, again, I can't let that define me. So I want to leave everyone with this. Never, ever underestimate what God can create from the most painful chapter of your life. When I lost my son, I experienced a level of heartbreak that words just cannot fully explain. But through faith, love, and purpose, I found a way to carry Ty's legacy forward. Ty's Future Stars Foundation is my reminder that pain can produce purpose and that one life can continue making an impact after the person is gone. I encourage parents, families, businesses, and community leaders to invest in our young people. Listen to them, mentor them, encourage them, and remind them that they have value because sometimes one caring adult, just one opportunity, just one, or one word of encouragement can change the direction of a young person's life. So please visit tiesfuturestars.org to learn more about support our work or become a community partner. Together, we can build bright futures, one person at a time. Thank you for allowing me to share Ty's story and the mission that continues in his name.
So you've done 7,000 plus, $7,000 plus awarded in scholarships. Okay. Turning pain into purpose. LaSonya Adams believes faith, love, and purpose can transform pain into legacy and is committed to helping others live with compassion, strength, and hope. Right? So we're just going through your website. You have programs out there, scholarships, and you can fund a scholarship, y'all. If you go to her website, you can become a
Also, I wanted to
mentor.
come out too that at the first of
Mhm.
the year, we are going to be introducing a mentorship program that my son is going to be leading. So I'm excited about that for him to bring in those mentors to just be big brothers to some of our young men that need it.
But make sure you get involved, even if it is to give a donation. Just make sure you support. I plan on giving a donation,
Thank
because
you.
I love your cause and I understand that the seed that is being sown is sown into generations.
Yes, ma'am. And
Yeah.
no donation is too small or too little, too small or
Okay.
too big. I'm sorry.
So, all right, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Ruby Girl Talk Show. You did excellent in conveying your mission, your vision, and placing in our heart the same care and concern that you have for the community. We have to put some works with that faith, y'all. We can't
We
just sit
do.
around and talk and scroll on Facebook and point things out. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Now we have an opportunity to change this and to change that. So I want to thank everybody that watched tonight, everybody that shared. You can still share. And thank you so much. And Miss LaSonya, we're going to sign off Facebook, but I want to tell everybody have a great and fantastic evening.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You are so welcome.